Now, the bad examples.
Boy, bad examples. You know, I won't call names.
Welcome to Veteran Led. Today we're highlighting our veteran guests' examples of bad leadership.
I'll go me for the worst.
Every guest is asked to share 3 examples of bad leadership.
Ooh, the bad.
But they don't have to name names.
I actually work for a person who I think, you think like, who goes to hell? Osama bin Laden, Adolf Hitler. I actually work for a person who I actually think I met somebody who will go to hell.
First up with the bad is Candace Porter, taking all the credit.
I've seen a leader who, when things were going well, took all the credit. So didn't extend credit to the team that helped get them there. But when it went wrong, pointing blame. And I think that just lights the culture of an organization on fire.
Next up is Jamie Peer. What are we supposed to do here?
A lot of the issues that come up in the military is because, or just in employment in general, is because the duties, responsibilities, and expectations weren't clearly defined in the beginning. And people just expect people to figure things out. And if they don't, then they're a problem.
At number 8 is Eric Isham, throwing bodies.
Trying to throw bodies at problems and not sitting down and solving them in a more logical way. It's a costly problem, and it's unsustainable. I would caution anybody listening, before you make a hire to fix something, see if there's another way that you can fix that through software, through better processes.
With number 7 on our list is Reggie Ordonez, insecure leaders.
Always worried that somebody's out to get them. Always worried that they have to be the one in charge, that delegating the play is somehow discrediting them and their achievement. They're set in their ways. They're not willing to take input, and they believe it's their way or the highway. What you get is an authoritarian that isn't empowering people.
Number 6 is Yolanda Clark, forgetting its mission first, people always.
Our job is to know what's going on. We had all been studying all the activity of this region, and we knew this was a terrible idea. And the soldiers were coming to me, the XO at the time, and our first sergeant, and saying, this is a bad idea. Let me tell you why. You don't know this. You don't know this. Let me tell you. And we're like, I hear you. I agree with you. Well, let's go to the commander and let's hope that he doesn't approve the mission. Not hope, but like, we'll tell him we don't agree with the mission. We did. He's like, no, we're going to do it. Yeah, but we also have to manage the risk, right? At what cost? He approved it anyway. And that team hit an IED, and we lost our first soldier. And it was the worst.
The commander won't listen. Wow.
Where the objective is more valuable than the people. I'm not crying, you're crying.
Mission first, people always. And
Yes.
unfortunately, there are the commanders that don't, they're just not good leaders. They don't have the, GWC, get it, want it, have the capability, capacity to do it, and they don't get it. Some of them don't want it, and some just don't have the capacity, and we've all seen that in leaders. So that's a really tough example.
And at number 5 is Brad Flanagan.
I had a terrible experience with a first sergeant who just treated everyone who was supposed to be under his authority as if they were his and that's what he would call you is my and so that really stifled the growth, and it's unfortunate that it happens in such immersed environments that it creates challenges in the headspace.
Tied at number 4 is Ryan Hendrickson and Candace Porter, leading by fear.
Leading that way, everybody can see that the reason why that leader resorts to those tactics, whether it's intimidation or fear or whatnot, is because they don't actually know what they're doing. And so now all of a sudden, the other 2 traits that I talked about come full in. I'm not invested in the mission, you don't know what you're doing, and you don't lead by example.
I once worked with a leader that was constantly leading by fear. So people weren't sure if they were going to get fired, have a job, would sometimes belittle people in public situations and give very public criticism, and that it just feels bad.
Number 3 makes perfect sense from our next guest. Kalo is calm and collected. There's no need to scream.
No longer in the military anymore. There's no bullets flying. It's not a life or death situation, except for in some cases where we're dealing with, utilities for power, water, healthcare. But for the most part, it's not a life or death situation. There's no need to scream at team members. So we do not tolerate that.
In the 2 seat is Dr. Paul R. Lawrence, being too self-oriented.
I guess the worst leaders I saw, and I actually work for a person who I think, you think like, who goes to hell? Osama bin Laden, Adolf Hitler. I actually work for a person who I actually think I met somebody who will go to hell, who was a regular person, was the world's worst boss, and I think about him all the time. He was very self-oriented. I don't think the word we had ever come out of his mouth. It was I this, I that, I whatever. Incredibly unprofessional. Call people names if they didn't achieve, really embarrass them personally. It really kind of formed my thinking in terms of what not to do and how to think about, the positive attributes of what you should be doing.
Number 1, Danny Marr, also known as Donnie O'Malley from Vet TV, talks about a time he let his team down.
I'll go me for the worst.
Okay.
Self-deprecate, right? Here we go. We were having the biggest Silkies hike yet in San Diego, in Oceanside. People coming from all over the country to Oceanside to experience this event. Some of them coming to see me specifically. I was also doing a stand-up comedy the night before, Friday night. I was doing a big stand-up, my biggest crowd ever, biggest hike the next day. I drank too much before my set. First half was okay, second half was terrible. Then I blacked out. Remember vomiting. I just remember vomiting in the middle of a bar in Oceanside, running to the bathroom. I woke up in a room with some chick, and I hadn't done that in a while. And then I sleep in the next morning. I miss the beginning of the hike, and I don't even make it to the hike that hundreds of people from across the country were coming to. I didn't even make it till noon. It started at 8, maybe 11:30. And that was one of the most embarrassing, shameful moments of my entire life. Without question, the most shameful moment of my professional career. And I lost the respect of hundreds of people. Hundreds. Maybe even all 600 people who showed up. Maybe all of them.
There's got to be one Lance Corporal that said, that Danny O'Malley, Donnie O'Malley, he knows how to party. There's got to be some EM out there, Lance Corporal, that thinks you're a star because of that. But anyway.
Dude, that guy didn't show up to his own hike till 12? Legend!
Exactly. Sorry, go ahead, the staff. How you let's go back into the shame now, how you let the staff down.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it for our list. Are there any examples we missed? Let us know in the comments. And catch John and our veteran guests next time on Veteran Led.
Thank you for joining us today on Veteran Led, where we pursue our mission of promoting veteran leadership in business, strengthening the veteran community, and getting veterans all of the benefits that they earn. If you know a leader who should be on the Veteran Led podcast, report to our online community by searching @Veteran Led on your favorite social channels and posting in the comments. We want to hear how your military challenges prepared you to lead your industry or community, and we will let the world know. And of course, hit subscribe and join me next time on Veteran Led.